The theme for the today's presentation is business incubation for effective industry partnership. So the main thrust of this session is to bring forward a comprehensive view about business incubation as a media for effective industry institute partnership. So today I feel so we have delved a lot upon IIP and all these kind of things. Now in today's session I will attempt to establish analogy between the business incubation and industry issued partnership. So I have been observing different institutions working in the domain of business incubation. I myself tried certain initiatives with students during my previous jobs at different institutions. So what I find over there is that some institution is good at one aspect in one phase, some institution is good at in the second phase, so another is good at the third phase or at the fourth phase. So when I tried to shoot off placement activities at NITA Chandigarh, so that kind of problem I faced when I tried to integrate all the phases together. So based on my observations of different institutions working in the domain of entrepreneurship activities and in the interventions taken by me during my previous job, so I came up with a framework which I feel so if we any institution is able to cover all these phases along with a team of all teachers and top management, so I feel so these initiatives will definitely result into the a good setup of new enterprises. But it has to be this framework has to be converted into sub activities and teams as per according to each institution, according to their set of academic courses they are offering, whether it is 3 years course, 4-year course, and what kind of cells they have. For example, some institutions have the cell for industry institute partnership, some institutions have the cell for entrepreneurship development, some have both in the industry AICT's approved ED cell also and say IIP cell also, and some have, for example, Chandigarh Engineering College Landra, I am sure they must be having a center for innovation and entrepreneurship development cell or center that is backed by funded by NISBUD, funded through NISBUD by NSTEDB. So what happens over there is many times it happens that entrepreneurship development cell is working in isolation and IIP cells is working in isolation. And third cell we talked about yesterday as proposed by our expert for the panel discussion, that is Ravinder ji, that there should be a corporate relation cell. So what I see over there, for example, in LPU, Lovely Professional University, they have another school for professional enhancement. They have a director, associate director for that school. These kind of positions they have. And in the same way, one important cell that is present in each institution is your training and placement cells. So I feel so whenever it comes to the question of existence of center and cells in different institutions, each institution is at least having a training and placement cell, and then they are having, some are having entrepreneurship development cell, most are having, I would say, and some are having ID cell and IIP cell separately. But what happens over there is that integration among them is not there, or the overlapping of the activities is not there, or cross assignment of the works with the different teams is not there. So what when I propose this framework, so in that, if we see in any institutions, there are different phases through which entrepreneurship journey has to pass through. So whenever a student starts in any institution, they are in the first year, say, or first or second semester or first year, they can be given short duration competitions based on the any aspect of business or trade in routine. For example, normally we say communication skill. Communication skill is the responsibility of a separate communication skill teacher, or sometimes we say that it is the responsibility of humanities and social sciences department. But what I feel, it is the responsibility of each and every teacher. But I do not say that each electronics teacher go for taking a communication skills class. But what I mean to say is that during that 1 hour in which you have to teach, at least 10% or 15% or 10-15 minutes can be dedicated towards that aspect of it. It can be, for example, yesterday we discussed about if a student has to present any innovative idea in the morning, first you start with 10 minutes regarding his field. It can be at the same time judged upon the communication skills parameter also. Content, flow, then communication skill. Communication skill may have a subset as tone, whether it is low, high, pitch, whether it is low, high. Tone means whether he is into angry mood, whether he is into friendly mood. Then body language, gestures, then your eye contact, and it can be, apart from it, ability to create interest. What extra interventions he is using, whether charts, whether videos, whether audios. And then later on, in the last but not the least, it may expand up to the handling of question answers from the audience. And it can be the class participation also, whether one person is presenting, other people are asking whether they are asking questions or not. Even they can be marked, because in our Excel sheet we have the names and roll numbers of all the candidates. So what happens over there, now I go a bit beyond that initiative. I say short duration competitions based on any aspect of business or trade in routine. For example, in every colleges there are hostels, and in hostels each student is having his needs, varying from purchasing of a jeans to purchasing of, say, small activity like daily essentials like toothpaste, soap, to mobile phones, electronic gadgets, to maybe vehicles. So what happens over there, if you can have formulate teams and give them assignments based on the maybe making a team, formulation of a team, making a purchasing certain, putting some equity, some money together, say 2,000 each students put, and 4 students put or 5 students put 10,000, and they purchase certain commodity, and they have to market it in the, say, hostels. That's it. If they are able to do that, it can be spread over, say, 6 months or 3 months or 1 semester, or maybe first you give a theoretical inputs on different aspects, and second semester you give them an assignment. So if at the end of the session they may be judged upon, you may ask them to give a presentation about how you went about it. And then they may be allowed or said to be sharing their team experiences, how they worked in a team, what are their difficulties they faced while working in the team, and how they overcome those difficulties. Then they may be asked to present their marketing plan, how they marketed the product, their finance plan, how they, if they scaled up, from which level they started up to which level they reached, and what are their learnings from the point of view of, say, future aspect of that idea. So it may not be that complete business plan. It may be a small activity, and separate a certain marks of internal assessment may be linked to that. So that it is not the activity alone. It is not the activity alone that they are doing it because it has been given. Because they will not do it unless some stake is put. For example, when you go to some good universities or big universities, what they have come up with the idea is that I see people over there sitting, making a counter, and they have displayed their t-shirts and jeans over there. That's it. They are selling out for, but many times it happens that they are not that much very active on that table. But when I visit the other aspect of it, for example, food joints, a canteen or a mess, that contract is being managed by the students. In many universities, it happens so that a canteen or a mess, or if there are several canteens, they are being managed by the group of students. That is another learning experience, win-win situation, where they may be asked to run a canteen, and they may be in teams whenever they are free. or there may be different groupings of the students where they can coordinate, or they can hire a one person to work during the daytimes, and evenings they can take care of, and then they may be asked to share their experiences in the class. That is another aspect I feel. So the institutions may try to come up with the culture of entrepreneurship among their institutions. Once this activity, initial activity is done, then the next level is your business plan competitions. We say B plan competitions. When we say B plan competitions, it can be at the two levels. One can be initial, one can be advanced. Initial business plan competition can be, when I say a business plan competition at the initial level, it means that you are not keeping those many limitations that can be in an advanced level. For example, you allow your students. First, you can have a basic session on what our B plan is, what are its components. Second, then you can allow them, you can have a business plan competition within your, say, domain-wise, maybe electronics or maybe civil or mechanical department-wise, or collectively for all the departments, in which you may ask them to submit a business plan for any idea or product or service they wish to, and irrespective of discriminating any idea, whether it is viable or not, you motivate them to present, and you assign them certain marks if it can be. For example, we held a business plan competition at NITA Chandigarh. So what we did, we didn't went for an advanced level of business plan competition. We only went for an initial level of business plan competition, where we promoted the event to all the institutions that that was feasible through emails and through physical visits. And then we promoted that we will not say have our second round, that first we will judge a business plan, then shortlist and allow them to present. We only said to that each college can send a team, and it may be they have to present an idea, and the certificate of participation will be shared to each person individually who comes to present that idea. They have to come in a team of, say, minimum it should be 2 members, maximum it can be 5 members. And we kept a certain nominal fee, say 250 rupees per student in a team. So we opened it up so that they come forward and present their ideas and have a certification. Another thing, that in that 250 rupees, we taken care of their lunch and meals, and everything was taken care of. And we had a nominal prize money. Say first prize it is 10,000 rupees, second prize, first prize 5,000 rupees, second prize 3,000 rupees, third prize 2,000 rupees. And what we did during that initial, I would say, level business plan competition, first we had 2 parallel sessions, and in each of the panel to judge those business plan competition, we had one person from the industry who is a practicing entrepreneur, or who had been an entrepreneur, one person from the financial institution. For example, in our case, in one case, it was a senior manager from a UCO bank, and another was a deputy general manager of a UCO bank. Then third was a person from the academy, external institution, very active in the domain of entrepreneurship. Another person in the expert was the internal faculty. In one panel was Dr. Dameja, in another panel I was. So we run 2 parallel tracks over there to judge that event. And once the presentations were finished, for example, first session in the morning before lunch, and one session after in the afternoon, 2 parallel sessions in the morning, 2 parallel in the afternoon, track 1 and track 2 at 2 different venues. So what we did in the afternoon, we requested certain entrepreneurs and certain financial institutions members to stay back with us, and for 1 hour, we kept 45 minutes to 1 hour, we kept a session where all the teams were put together into a single place, and they can ask any number of queries they would have regarding their ideas or any other ideas, and how can they take their ideas further. So kind of a mentorship session was there after the business plan competition. The internal members like Dr. Dhameja, me, and 2 external members, by the time that mentorship session was going on, we compiled the results. So results were declared on the same day, prizes were distributed on the same day. It was a positive atmosphere. And when we had a feedback from the students, and they were very much happy. They were happy in the aspect that one of the person from one of the institutions said that, being from a mechanical engineering, I designed an engine, and I am a very much had a practical knowledge on my engine, but this is the first time I am coming to a platform where I have to share how this has to be taken as how I have to market it, how I have to take it further into the market. He said, when I preparing for this business plan, when I searched on over the internet, I learned a lot more things that are required beyond basic technical knowledge. So that was the one feedback from one of the participants. Another beautiful thing was that there were certain institutions, what they did before sending their teams to NITR Chandigarh, what they did, they held the business plan competition at their respective institutions. So what they did, they held the business plan competition over there, and the winning teams, maybe top 3, top 2, top 1 team, they sent those teams to this competition at NITR Chandigarh. So that was another good activity where before a final event, they made their participants aware, and they held a competition, and out of that competition, they sent a team to NITR Chandigarh. That is another thing that was a shoot of this business plan competition. There was a third organization with which I was in continuous touch. They tried to make people aware, but they conducted a whole sessions on business plan in their institutions, but they were unable to motivate their students. But still, they said that it was a good experience. Within next 1 year, we promise you, if you organize it next year, so we will definitely send a team from our side. Maybe we are into a backward area of the state, but not that much prosperous in context of these kind of opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities. Then we had deliberated upon how the ideas can be built upon, brought to the classroom situation where the students can be working upon. But in that context, another good thing was that I was apprehensive regarding, because business plan competition this year was organized was as a part to our golden jubilee year celebration activities. Normally we do not organize. So normally we are into our mandate, that is training of technical teachers. So I was of the view I have generated a motivation among that college, and he's saying that next year we would like to have a B participation from our college in B plan competition. So I was little bit doubtful whether next year we will be holding this event or not. But to a good surprise, that when we had a good participation of 23 teams, registration from 23 teams from the northern region, out of which 19 actually appeared. So our top management was happy with that kind of concept. Even the chairman of NITR Chandigarh, he appreciated that students came forward from different institutions and they have contributed over here, and they have learned the different aspects of business incubation, preliminary concepts of business incubation. So what happened? Our top management decided that this event will be held every year on a repetitive basis. So that is another outcome. That is a positive for me also as an entrepreneurial training motivator, and for other institutions to which I am saying that I am hand-holding them. So that is another offshoot, it is there. So once you are done with the business plan competitions and at the initial level, then they may be taken to the advanced level. What advanced level may comprise of? Advanced level may comprise of, for example, once this event, in my case, it becomes a regular activity and I am able to promote it to say 9 states, and I am able to handle maybe a gathering of 200 or 300 at a one go. So what will be the next step over here? It can be that you invite applications from PAN, all 9 states, or maybe you make it a national level event and you invite from different colleges, and before calling the people to present their idea over here, you first screen those ideas on certain parameters, and we formulate our teams in which may comprise of one entrepreneur, one person from the financial institution, one external faculty in the domain of active in the domain of entrepreneurship, one faculty active in the domain of internal faculty active in the domain of entrepreneurship, and the ideas may be screened. And out of, say, if we have 50 ideas, we may choose top 15 or 20 ideas, and they may get selected for going to the second round. That is the final round to be presented on the day of business plan. And during those second round, what it can be there, during those intermediate days, they can be mentored upon. So we can assign certain, say, 4, 3, 5 teams to one group of entrepreneur and financial institution, and a team of internal faculty, external faculty, another 5 say to the another 5 say to the third team. So automatically, in this way, what I am saying over here is that if I am organizing a business plan competition, industry is automatically coming close to me. More the number of teams I am having, more industry people I will be able to invite. In case you organize in your academic institutions, the more the participation from your neighboring institutions and other institutions you are having, more number of industry people you may be able to involve in this kind of competitions. That is a one aspect how you can move towards industry institute partnership. Another thing can be apart from it can be, for example, when we say when I do it, in my case, it will be that I will be using those experts in my training programs. But in your case, since you are having your graduating students over there, BTech and maybe Polytechnic or maybe MTechs, you can interact with those industries for placement and training activities, training placements and placement of your students. That's it. There is another aspect that will be automatically touched upon once you involve the enterprises in this kind of activity. That's it. Then once you are done with this business plan competition at initial or advanced level, I feel so it can be in the second and third years, or mostly I would like to say that you should tap the second year students for this kind of things. For example, third semester student immediately coming into the second year. Then next phase can be mentoring and support for a good project report preparation. So once your students are ready with the short duration competitions, initially your business plan, they have reached up to that level, then you may move up to the mentorship support for a good project report preparation. Here the organization may touch upon the people from Khadi and Village Industries Commission or Khadi and Village Industries Board, or they may touch upon the people from DIC, District Industries Centers, or NSIC, National Skill Industries Corporation, or other organizations. So here you may give a guidance on a good project report preparation. And each bank, if you see each bank, any bank, maybe State Bank, maybe Punjab National Bank, maybe UCO Bank, each bank has a separate section in their head office. For example, Jalandhar State Bank of Patiala, number of branches were there earlier. So one head office is there. Head office has different sections. Loan section has housing loan. It has a MSME loan section. But normally what happens over there, when for example, APJ institution in Jalandhar, they were conducting a 3-day entrepreneurship awareness camp, and they said to me, sir, can you give us a person from who can guide our students on project report preparation? So I called one of my students from NIT, who is working as a manager in industries and MSME loan section with Punjab National Bank. So he says, sir, my head will not allow, because I am occupied with a lot of activities, to come from Amritsar to Jalandhar. So then we attempted, but since his head was from Jalandhar, so then we attempted to call his head to that event. But again, it was a cold call, because bankers, he didn't wish to get involved into that activity. Then I called the person from which I have taken my house loan. Then I requested him, can you send your manager, one of the managers, to take a session at one of the APJ institute that is situated in Jalandhar. And I said to the APJ institution, don't pay them honorarium. They may not love to have honorarium because of their bankers are well paid off with all the facilities. Honor them well. But again, it was a cold call, because 8 in the night, I was attempting to call a person for session in the morning, 11 or 11:30. So it was a cold call. But when I visited my place, I went back to that banking loan section. I said to them, sir, I wish I am working as an entrepreneurial training motivator, and there are certain programs that are being held in Jalandhar, and I wish to have a good participation from you. You come to those institutions where such events are held, and send one of your managers, or you yourself come forward. So then he expressed his slight unwillingness, saying that since mergers of the banks are going on for 2-3 months, we will be busy till May end or June. Then after that, I will be in a position to depute somebody. I said, definitely, sir. Definitely, I will touch upon you after June for programs after June. So it is our responsibility to be after such people that you have to come to the such events. So that's it. Once they come, we have to give them a good atmosphere. That's it. Third option can be, another option can be, instead of requesting that particular manager, we meet the director general manager, DGM of that bank in that area with a letter. What I said to the APJ college that you write a letter to the DGM of the bank that we are going to conduct a such and such event, and we wish to have a one participation of a banker from your side who can prize the students about project report preparation, how project appraisal is actually done. So what happens when you write, once you go and meet to a DGM will never say no to depute a person. He will automatically mark that application, and automatically juniors have to follow the orders. So there can be a different levels at which you can intervene in. For example, somebody yesterday was saying it is tough to seek the involvement of a government official. So in my case, I was conducting a one entrepreneurship awareness camp 3 days at Government Polytechnic. It was Kandaghat, if I am not wrong. So when I was conducting a program over there, what I found over there on the way to Shimla, it is there, where Maharaja Patiala's palace was there earlier. Now it is a polytechnic. So I tried to call a person, since Himachal Pradesh is a one state which is very much active in the domain of small and medium enterprises. For example, there are apple orchards, there are different kinds of fruits. So I tried to call, it will be beneficial for the students if I call a person from Khadi and Village Industries Board, from the local. So what I tried, I searched the internet, I tried to establish a link with the KBIC over there. So I called them. They say it is a government office, through a call person will not come. You have to send a email, you have to send a letter. Then I drafted a letter, I faxed it. I didn't get any response. Then what I did, I took the number of the IAS secretaries over there, and I took the numbers from the common KVIC site, and I shoot up an email to them requesting them to depute a person to take a session during that 3 days EAC program on schemes of KVIC and KVIB for promoting entrepreneurship. That kind of theme was there. So what happens over there, when I was going to leave my office one day before, and by 5:25, I receive a call from the nodal officer for KBIB that we receive a request from your side to engage a session, and we will be there tomorrow for engaging a session. So from the local coordinator, we had a one industrialist local over there in working in the domain of electronics. We had a nodal officer from the KVIB. It was a wonderful program. I took one of my students who have set up his enterprise from NITR Chandigarh in robotics training. I took him as a trainer, so that his handholding is done when he goes over there, what kind of activities are to be done, what kind of documentations are to be done. So he learned that, he took a session, and it was a win-win situation for both. Youngsters love to interact with youngsters, and since he was an entrepreneur, it was all the more fruitful experience. So what happens over there, when I had a interaction with the different entrepreneur and KVIB representative over there, when I discussed the motivation with which we are working, he was very much positive that in next programs, any of the programs, if you wish to have my participation, I will be there. Then in the next programs, I invited him to one of my programs being run through this kind of platform on entrepreneurship development. So he came from all the way from Shimla. He came over here to Chandigarh. He took a session. Why I have to call a person from there? When I visited the DIC Chandigarh office, there was a limitation over there. They said one IS is there, I am the PA, one inspector is there, one inspector is retired, and one maybe finance personnel is there. So we are limited in staff, so we can't assist you with kind of arranging visits for say your participants. But still, I didn't get demotivated. I invited from the neighboring state. All the more it can be. So we have to stay positive. We have to take, and Sanjeev Jasta was there, and he was very much knowledgeable person. He dealt on schemes of KVIB. He dealt on how they brand the products over there, how they go for trademark filing, and how they bring the people together to brand their products and get a good money for their produce. That's it. So that can be another aspect, mentoring and support for a good project report preparation. The next level can be, once you are done with that, in maybe in the second year of the students, and in the start of the third year, you may enter into different competitions based on pitch competitions with the involvement of alumni and industry. Here I have kept alumni word, because many a times it happens that your past alumni is into very good positions with the industry. Maybe 4 years passed, maybe one immediate first year or second year they have passed, their preceding years they are not into a top position, but I am sure once a alumni that is into the fourth year or fifth year of their service, after passing from the organization, they are at the middle level of management in their organization. You can have their participation and in their industry's participation. Through them you can involve their senior management and have a pitch competitions as proposed by Ravinder and Narendra sir yesterday. And you can have advanced pitch competitions where you may ask the industry to come forward to adopt ideas if they are fruitful according to them, to support them in coming up to support the students to come up with the ideas that can be taken up by the industry. So pitch competitions can be there with the involvement of industries and alumni. Then in the next phase, it can be exploring of opportunities for creation of new enterprises jointly by students and alumni or industry or other stakeholders who are ready to put in their money, or venture capitalists. So it can be in the start of, I would say, fourth year or end of the third year or start of the fourth year in case of a BTech program, that you can allow the industry people or alumni to have a stake into the venture. It can be, for example, 2 or 3 members from the college or 2 members or 3 members from the industry. They become the partner or shareholders of a company, and they start exploring towards forming a limited liability partnership or forming a private limited company. That can be another advanced level step that can be taken by the institutions who are at somewhat advanced level, or it can be at the institution that has started it since the first year of its first year of the course of the students at their institutions. And then at the final level, it can be basic infrastructural support that is must. For example, if I say at the final level, it has to be a infrastructural support, autonomy to perform, graceful acceptance of failure without changing the institute's stand towards supporting future entrepreneurial endeavors by the students. So here, what is important is that when many times what happens over here, when Ajay used to come to me, he always used to come to me to inquire about placement activities. But I used to inform him again and again, without a team, it will not be feasible for us to go further. So we need to have the student who are willing to work for their placement. But since there we have MTech over here, so during the 4 years of their stay in different institutions of the country, they were already demoralized, demotivated. Because when they entered into the first year of their institution, they were very much motivated. During the first year, they were burnt out students. But they came to NITR Chandigarh. There are 3-4 reasons. One, they had a platform where they can stay and they can have a good degree and join an academic institution as a teacher. Another, they stay over here, they prepare for the different competitive exams, and they go with their jobs. Third, they move to for higher studies to different colleges, taking a brand value of NITR Chandigarh from here. So that was there. So each student is willing to, what I came to know is that he says, so what is my benefit if I work for my juniors? Why should I work for my juniors? Juniors say, why I should work for my seniors? One, electronic people say, why should I work for mechanical or civil? I should be working on my electronics domain only. So what happens over there, what I found over there is that based on their stay tenure at different institutions where they had done their graduation, there has been strong deterioration in the team spirit. They are not ready, willing to work in teams. That's there. Another thing is that when Ajay, I saw potential again and again, he is coming to me. He was not that much comfortable with English as a language, but he was very strong in his attitude, because again and again he was coming to me, sir, what is happening? How can I contribute? So then he discussed with Dr. Punya, that I wish to go ahead with setting up a enterprise. And Dr. Punya, the former director of NITA Chandigarh, he handholded him, guided him, and we had a place in which 60-40 partnership was there. For example, if they do they generate a profit, 60% they have to share with NITA Chandigarh, and 40% they can take back. But my point opinion was something different. It should be either 50-50 or it should be 60-40, other way around. That's it. But since our top management felt that it is an already established brand, NITA Chandigarh, they must be using the name of the brand. So it should be 60-40, and they should put their more hard works so that they become successful in the future. Another thing NITA Chandigarh provided them was a lab, one big this kind size room, in which they were allowed to hold their workshop. For example, they have to do a training workshop for the students. They were allowed to, it was put into the operation plan of the institution, and they were calling the students to have a training on robotics, and it was a hands-on training, not a theoretical. It was theory club, hands-on practical training. And they implemented 5S in their that lab. 5S unhone implement kiya. When they implemented 5S, when I run a program on quality management, I say to them, what you have done in your lab, come to the program and explain what it is. Again, they have registered their company, tried to use the Startup India initiative and schemes by Government of India. When I have to have a program on entrepreneurship, and I have to have a how to register a company under Startup India, I call Ajay that you present since you have registered your company under Startup India. That is a actual practical experience coming to a class. That is another offshoot of this activity was there. Third offshoot was there. When they were doing hands-on part over there, there was another person, partner of that, Alo. He had earlier worked with on certain projects with NTPC and certain other organization, and another person was Vikram, who is expert on your designing of products and services, different softwares. So they formed a team. What happened over there? They started providing inputs to the MTech theses over being done at NITA Chandigarh. If some person doing a thesis in MTech electrical engineering or instrumentation control, so if they are stuck up at some point, they were able to solve their problems. They were allowed, and they used to go to their lab, and they were guiding them how to come up with a solution for that problem. That was another wonderful offshoot of that small initiative in NITA Chandigarh, that they were providing hand-holding to the thesis, to the students who are doing thesis in their MTech in NITA Chandigarh. But another important thing is that this message should pass on to all the levels. For example, all the directors or all the top management may not be willing to allow this kind of activity. But until unless it is the responsibility, what I propose them that when a student writes an acknowledgement page, so ask them that they write that they have got help from you in completion of this thesis. You have request them to send an email what kind of problem they are posing, then answer that. Otherwise, nobody will be knowing, so impact will be missing. So once it is done in an explicit manner, then there are more chances you will get a longer stay or longer good support by this organization in a longer duration. There is another aspect of that promoting an entrepreneurial activity in non-academic institutions. So it can be exploring of opportunities for creation of new enterprises jointly by students and alumni, industry, and other stakeholders. Last, what I am talking about is basic infrastructural support, autonomy to perform, means you have to allow your people to work in their own way. Then even in case if they fail after say 1 year or 2 years, you have to accept the failure gracefully. And if one group of students fail or tries to shut down their operations or exit from the business operation because they have to take their jobs, allow them to go for that, because once they had experience at your institution regarding entrepreneurship, that will be a lifelong learning for them. Maybe after joining organizations, they may, after gaining a 4 or 5 year of experiences, they may come again to the basic idea of entrepreneurship and they may take it forward. Let's say they will be in a better position to be a successful entrepreneur than being a starting at the end after the degree, after experience. That's it. So I have kept here in red the role of teachers and teachers, sport and top management, and sport from academic institutions. On the red, on the top of that arrow, when I have marked teachers too on the left side, because when it is at the initial level, when I say short duration competitions based on any aspect of business, trade or business plan competition at the initial level, so or mentoring or pitch competitions, the inputs and support and the time to be devoted towards such activity by the teachers plays a very crucial role, very important role. Because here top management may take a review from the teacher or may be interested in knowing those facts only. They may not be interested, but it will depend upon the motivation of the teachers with which they shoot up these kind of competitions in their day-to-day routine. For example, another thing I propose over here is that why a business plan competition have to be a separate. Whenever you organize a tech fest in your colleges, maybe electronics robo war based competition, your maybe electronics based competition, mechanical based competition, civil engineering based competition, a business plan competition can be there in each of the events or one event common as a part to the tech fest every year. It can be a routine activity. Automatically this will serve the purpose. So here the teachers sport is all the much very important during the formative years. Once the students move from first year to fourth year, and these initiatives goes from the phases proposed here from initial phases to the advanced phases, the top management sports and top management commitment plays a very important role. And I'm sure it may be somewhat difficult in the government institutions, somewhat, not all the more, because government institutions also know if we have to be in this profession for a long number of years, so we have to innovate and create. That's it. So in private are well aware of if they have to be competitive and if they have to attract more number of students to their campuses, they have to support such kind of initiatives. So top management commitment or support becomes all the more very important during that advanced level of phases of these activities proposed over here, and during the third and fourth year of the student's stay, or during the final years of the student's stay at your institutions. That's it. And I have put in the red over the downwards. All these activities have to be spread over the stay of the students in the academic institutions during maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years, according to the kind of courses you are offering. And on the top of the above, on the umbrella, I have put it to be banking and financial institutions or personal or alumni or industries support. Automatically, if you involve them in different phases, they will be there with you. They will be there with you. Involve them in a rotational basis. For example, for some programs, I invite HS Chima sir, who is having a turnover of 200 crores, started with a seed money of 10,000 rupees. But presently he is in US because he is a green card holder. So I invite alternate experts, alternate industrialists. So it can be, you can have all the 12 months, you can have 1 or 2 entrepreneurs for every month, a new one. So you will be having 24 or 20 entrepreneurs into your kitty who will be helping you out with different intervention for your students. So this was the basics that I wish to cover in my presentation up to this level. Now we are open for the discussions in context of entrepreneurship from business incubation for promoting industry institute partnership from different institutions.